All right, Robert Garcia, this Saturday, your brother Mikey Garcia is facing Adrien Broner for a very, very exciting fight. Talk to me. What'd you think about that last press conference? What'd you make of it?
It is a very exciting fight. Very competitive, pretty even fight. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. And press conference went well. Broner, opened up his mouth a little too much for the first time since the fight was announced. Yesterday we were at in Connecticut doing a lot of ESPN interviews and shows and everything over there, and he was very friendly throughout the day because we were pretty much together all day, and he was very, very friendly. So now that today's press conference, he showed a different side. He was a little vocal when it came to talking about Mikey and said a few bad words, but that's normally the way Broner is. He normally does that. We were surprised that he wasn't doing it before, but that's just the way he is.
I saw Mikey was super calm throughout the whole exchange. Definitely. He was like cool, calm, collected, and afterwards he's like, "I'm always calm.
Yeah,
this is how I always am."
Mikey listens and laughs and does his job inside the ring.
As far as that face-off, what did you make of him? Do you think he's on weight already?
Well, he's gonna make weight. I think he is gonna make weight. He does look thin. He does look smaller than usual. So I'm sure, just like any other fighter, it's the day before the weigh-in. I'm sure he still has a few pounds to cut, just like every other fighter on the card. There's very few that say they're on, or that very few that are on weight that 1 or 2 days before the weigh-in. You just have to step on the scale one time, make weight there, and that's all you have to do. So there's a lot of fighters that right now, the day before the weigh-in, they still have 4 to 5 pounds, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if Broner's got 4 to 5 pounds, then he'll make it.
As far as Mikey Garcia, how has it been him moving up in weight? Has it been really easy, or it's been a little struggle?
It can't be any struggle because he's fighting at a higher weight division, but coming down, walking around 149, 150, sometimes 152. Well, it's still 10 to 12 pounds that he has to lose. But throughout training camp, we were preparing and getting ready to beat Broner, how to fight Broner. We never had to worry about the weight. Training hard and eating healthy, the weight starts coming off by itself, and come tomorrow, the weight will not be a problem for Mikey. So it makes it a lot easier not having to train to make weight and train just to beat Broner. So that's what we did for the full training camp.
We had a chance to talk to Broner briefly before the presser started. He said he saw Mikey and he looked a little chubby.
That Mikey looked a little chubby?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, Mikey's fighting at a different weight, and a higher weight class. So Mikey's not, he's not heavy, obviously, but he's not at 135, or 130 when he was at 130. So he used to lose a lot of weight. This time around, he didn't have to lose too much weight. But Mikey's strong. He's solid at 140.
Robert, this is obviously, in my opinion, one of the biggest fights of the year. Correct. Next to Canelo Golovkin. Correct. And Mayweather McGregor. It's just really big. We see TMZ's talking about it. There's a lot of people covering the fight. How big would it be if Mikey ends this fight in a spectacular way? It
is big. The fight story itself is big. Whoever wins is a big fight. Everybody's talking about it. You get a lot of people, boxing people talking about it, and some say Mikey, some say Broner. It's a 50-50 fight, even though the odds are not like that, or they start off really off. I think it's a really close fight. It's a 50-50 fight. Broner's when he's in shape, Broner's a real deal. So it's great. That's what Mikey wants. That's what Mikey is looking forward to do. He wants to be huge in boxing. He doesn't want to just pick his opponents and like they call it cherry pick. He didn't want that. When he was told he was going to fight in July, they actually gave him a different date a week earlier, and to fight in LA with the stop hub already reserved for Mikey. But the names that they gave Mikey were not names that interested Mikey. Mikey could have had a sold out crowd in LA, but that's not what interests Mikey. Mikey said, no, those fights are not, to me, they don't mean nothing. So that would have been for a title defense. So Mikey said no. Those guys that you guys are offering me to defend my title against, even though they were decent names, they were former world champions. Mikey said no. So then out of a sudden they brought up Broner. Mikey like right away. So he didn't have to think about it much. Broner didn't have to think about it much. Right away they both agreed to fight each other.
As far as Broner, we know he's fought the who's who in boxing. He has power. Which performance are you most impressed by Broner? What do you think is his biggest victory?
I think Broner looked very impressive when he fought DeMarco. Very impressive when he fought Eloy Perez.
Yeah.
That's the Broner that everybody was looking forward to seeing in the future, because he was looking very impressive, very flashy, but with great skills. But then he started. I don't know if it was dedication or whatever it was. Maybe the money that he started making, the publicity, the promotion. That he started getting, the recognition. Maybe he started getting to his head. I really don't know, because then Maidana beat him. He hasn't looked that great recently. He's had a lot of personal problems, but we're ready for the best Broner out there. We're ready to fight the Broner that was looking great when he won his first title. That's the Broner we're ready for.
I spoke to Mikey after the face-off, the press or whatever, and he said he's not going to look for the knockout, but if he sees it, he's going to go for the kill.
Oh, of course. Once Mikey lands a good punch and hurts his opponents, then of course he's going to go for the kill. But we got to be very prepared, because the experience that I have against Broner, with Maidana hurt him pretty bad in the second round. I think it was when Maidana dropped him the first time. Broner got up.
He's got heart, yeah.
And he was shaky. His legs were fucking shaky, and he still managed to hang in there and survive that round. Then he got dropped again, got up, and he was still strong enough to finish the fight very strong, which Maidana actually told us that he was very strong in the late rounds, and that Maidana felt hurt in the last 11 and 12 round. So even after he got dropped and was hurt really bad by Maidana, he was still strong enough to finish the fight strong and very strong. So those are experiences that I gotta know, that even if Mikey hurts him, can go wild or can go out there for the kill. Because what if he's able to survive? Then I don't want Mikey to gas out. Which Mikey's in great shape, but still, I don't want that. And Mikey is very smart also inside the ring. He's not gonna make those mistakes. But we do have to be very, very careful.
Are we gonna see the best Mikey Garcia?
Well, look, we've seen great performances by Mikey. This is obviously the biggest fight of his career. This is the biggest name that he's fighting, and Mikey said it before. The best is yet to come, and I think Adrien Broner is gonna bring out the best out of Mikey.
Do you think Broner will be? Is there something that Broner you think will be surprised once he gets in the ring with Mikey?
Look, when it comes to Mikey, a lot of fighters, boxing people, trainers, promoters, whatever it is, just boxing people, they see Mikey fight or they see Mikey in the gym, and they don't see much. They don't see much. They're not very impressed, or they just don't see what Mikey
is capable
or Mikey has in him. They think Mikey's not that hard, and that's what every fighter that fights Mikey goes in there thinking, well, Mikey's very basic, throws a good jab, 1-2, nothing special. But once they're inside the ring, it's a different story, and I've heard it from some people. One person in particular, a good friend of mine, Rudy Hernandez, years ago, was looking at Mikey sparring in LA, and he told me, look, Robert, nobody in the gym is paying attention to your brother Mikey. Nobody pays attention to him because he doesn't have that he doesn't call for that attention. He's not flashy, he's not spectacular, he's not one of those guys that people see and they're like, wow, but look at him. Everything he does it right. We're seeing him and he's not getting hit. We're seeing him, he's landing whenever he wants to land. So he's like, people don't know that, but when you're inside the ring, it's a different story. So I think that's the situation with Mikey. A lot of opponents, boxing people, they see Mikey on TV or they see Mikey fight live, and they don't think much about him. But when they're inside the ring, it's a total different story. You know, we get sparring partners, guys from my gym that have prepared with Mikey, and they tell us, damn, you know, inside the ring it's just so hard to get Mikey. It's so hard to land a punch. It's so hard to even box around him, brawl with him. You know, it's just difficult, and it's just something about Mikey.
You know, that's your brother. Obviously, you love him, and you know you're in the ring with him. A part of you is in the ring with him. Obviously, when you're not in there, when you visualize this fight, what do you see, Robert? What do you see happening?
Look, I throughout training camp, we've been studying the fight, and I do my own thinking, my own visualizing, and you know, Mikey's skills, Mikey's power is good enough to beat Broner, but it does have to be with the game plan and not making mistakes. Mikey has to fight a perfect fight. Mikey has to fight smart and not make mistakes. You know, like I said earlier, with Broner, you can't think he's done, because he has energy, he has experience, he has power in the late rounds. So we have to be very aware of that. I already know that, so that's something that I'm gonna be very, very aware in the fight. We just have to fight the perfect fight to be able to beat Broner. And if if that happens on Saturday, I think Mikey's gonna look spectacular. I think Mikey's gonna win the fight with the boxing world remembering and saying, "Wow, you know, we never seen this from Mikey." That's the way I see it.
It looks like either Mikey or Broner could be a pay-per-view star. You know, Broner said it himself. He's the next pay-per-view star. We spoke to Freddie Roach, and he thinks that Mikey's the next pay-per-view star. Is this where you think this is going towards?
Well, look, definitely that's where it's going towards. You know, I think at this point, this fight is probably the first fight, you know, that'll lead Mikey to that direction. You know, it also has to. It also depends on who the opponents are. You know, Mikey winning this fight is already going to put him in a great position, but to become that next pay-per-view star, it looks like for right now he would have to beat a pay-per-view star that's already there, or fight a really good fight against a solid guy that calls for pay-per-view. At this point, I still don't think Mikey could still, even by beating Broner, I don't think Mikey could do his own pay-per-view where he's fighting somebody that people don't know well. You know, just like Pacquiao was doing when he fought what was it, Diaz, I think, from Chicago. You know, that guy wasn't very well known, but he still did a pay-per-view. Or, you know, or De La Hoya fighting guys that were not that big, but still being able to carry his own pay-per-views.
You mean by his own name?
By his own name, Mayweather has done it. You know, Mayweather fought his last pay-per-view fight with Berto. Berto wasn't a big name. Berto wasn't a pay-per-view guy, and Mayweather's still able to carry his own pay-per-views. I think Mikey needs a few more wins to do that, or beat a active pay-per-view guy, which right now the only one might be Pacquiao. Mayweather wanted to fight Mikey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To make Mikey from one fight to the other, make him a pay-per-view guy. If not, it's gonna be 3 or 4 fights from now. Mikey beating a Lomachenko, Crawford, you know, things like that. Then Mikey could become a pay-per-view star.
Lomachenko obviously shared interest in wanting to fight your brother. As much as your brother wants to fight him, do you think if that fight happens down the line, if everything goes well, because nothing's promised, you think that fight would be on pay-per-view? Or
you just said nothing's promised, and of course we're in a hard fight with Broner, so it's a very dangerous fight. So we can't look past Broner, but we do have to, you know, talk about the future. If you're asking me, you know, see how Mikey ends. See how Mikey beats Broner. If Mikey knocks Broner out spectacular, there's no way Top Rank's gonna let Lomachenko face Mikey. Mikey's just, I already said it, Mikey's just too strong for Lomachenko. Obviously Lomachenko's a fighter, and he's not gonna say, "Oh no, I don't want to fight Mikey." He's never gonna say that. His manager's not gonna say that. But I don't think Top Rank's gonna want to do business, because they know Lomachenko's their future star, and why are they gonna go get him beat? That's just the way I see it. You know, Mikey's too big for Lomachenko, and Lomachenko's a true champion, hell of a fighter, one of my favorite fighters, pound for pound right now. I think he's my favorite fighter, pound for pound. But it's just a different level when you're matching Mikey against Lomachenko. The size, the power is just very, very different. Like I said, especially Mikey looking great and beating Broner in a spectacular fashion. Then I think not only myself but you guys, the media, would probably say, "Oh fuck, it's not even a match." You know, Lomachenko's too small. You know, Lomachenko's fighting a featherweight right now. He's fighting Marriega, who just lost to a featherweight champion. So if he was really looking into fighting Mikey, then he should. If he didn't find an opponent, a solid guy at 130, then this fight should have already been at 135. If he really wants to fight Mikey, then he should have already been trying to be at 135. That way, look, I'm already here. This is my first fight here. I'm looking for it. You know, if after this fight we come back and say, okay, well, let's do it. Let's do it by December. They're gonna say, oh no, we need 1 or 2 135 fights before we fight Mikey. I'm pretty sure that's what they're gonna say. In this case, you know, Marriega is not an opponent that, you know, he says he wants to fight the best. So why is he fighting a guy that just lost? Why is he fighting a guy that's a featherweight, that's coming up in weight? Then he should have said, no, I ain't fighting that guy. I'm moving up to 135. Then find me an opponent at 135, just so I could show the boxing world I'm a lightweight and I'm ready for Mikey. We could do Mikey sooner than later, because Mikey's not gonna wait for him. Mikey's not gonna chase Lomachenko. Mikey's not gonna wait for him. Lomachenko's only chance, if he wants to fight Mikey, is they both win this next Saturday and next week on August 5th. If they both win, there's no excuses. The fight should happen before the end of the year. They're both gonna fight one time before the end of the year. What's Lomachenko gonna do? Defend his title against who? At 130. Who does he want to fight? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he wants to fight the best, there's nobody out there at 130 for him. You know, he's not gonna fight Davis because it's just total different. You know that Bob Burnham's not gonna do that, and Mayweather's not gonna do that either. So what else is out there for him? Rigon down at 122 pounder? Shit, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing for him to say he'll fight Rigon down instead of Mikey. If he really wants to fight Mikey, then November or December. That's the time. Mikey's not gonna be waiting for him. Mikey's gonna move on.
So you're saying it's now or never because Mikey's moving up?
Well, unless he catches up later and the fight happens a year from now, that could still be possible. He moves. You know, Mikey's not gonna be at 135 for that long. Mikey wants to come down to 135, maybe to unify his title, fight Lomachenko. But if that's not available, what else is there at 135 for Mikey? So Mikey would rather just stay at 140. Like he even said, maybe even go to 147. Mikey, we don't know what you know. Mikey's gonna do what's the biggest fight out there for him, and if it's not at 135, then it won't. You know, it's got to be at 140 or 147.
Robert, you've been a fighter. You're now a trainer. Where do you see your brother best at as far as weight? Where would you prefer him to stay at?
I think right now he'd still be at best at 135, because he had no problem making 135. He looks spectacular. He looks strong in his last fight, but we might see the same Mikey at 140, because it's only a 5-pound difference. Mikey has tremendous power. Mikey's very smart. I think Mikey could control 140 pretty well too. You know, it's Saturday, so we'll see in the next 2 days. We'll see how he does at 140, and if he does great, if he beats Broner spectacular, why would he even bother, you know, coming down to defend his title unless he unifies or fights Lomachenko? But like I said, you know, it looks like Lomachenko might end up fighting Rigon down instead. You know, so that means he has no plans on moving up to 135 anytime soon.
Robert, I was in the locker room after Maidana fought Floyd the first time, and he said, "That's it." He was telling everyone that Broner was a tougher fight.
Yes, he was.
And my question to you is, Mikey in the press conference said that this has all the makings to make a great fight, to make it even happen 2 or 3 times. Would you guys entertain the idea of that?
Look, if for sure not 3, because when they do 3, it's because one wins one and the other one wins.
Right.
They each win one, then they do the third. I think maybe a rematch, because it could be a really good fight. Mikey winning, and then we do a rematch, because if the fight was really that good, then why not? That we're up for. It would be great, but we don't mix. I mean, USA won.
Yeah,
the
no.
Cup. But we gotta see this, Saturday. Who knows? Fight might be easy for Mikey. Mikey might win easy, where nobody would want to see a rematch. We don't know what's gonna happen. I just know that Mikey's in great shape, and Mikey has the skills, and people don't know everything Mikey knows, because we know it because we're in the gym with him. But a lot of people don't know. They see a basic fighter that's not flashy, that doesn't have too much to show. But when they get in the ring, it's just a totally different story. And I think Broner's going to bring the best out of Mikey. And after Saturday, I don't think there's anybody that's even going to want to see a rematch. I think they're going to want to see Mikey take bigger challenges. That's what they're going to want to see.
You said when people see him in the ring, they say he's a basic fighter. Do you think that's because no one has brought out the best in Mikey?
I think it is because nobody's brought the best in Mikey, and also because that's where we are. You guys know our fighters are basic. We don't do all that mid
flashy
work that everybody does. Throwing 200 punch combinations. We're very basic. We do what we train for, what a fighter does in a fight. If it's against an opponent, if it's a body shot that you have that you could land with your opponent, or the fighter gets hit with a lot of right hands, then we're practicing the right hands. But we don't have to train like other trainers train their fighters. We do the basic stuff. The 1-2, the hooks, body shots, uppercuts. It's very basic. We don't teach much. There's not much in boxing. Boxing is basic. If the fighter's smart, if the fighter has very good reflexes, well then of course you're gonna teach him to make you miss and counter. But he's not gonna counter with a 20 punch combination. That's never gonna happen. There's every fighter that you see doing mitts, throwing 30 punch combinations. When have you seen him do that in a fight? Never. Mayweather throws like 200 punch combinations. Looks very nice, but in the fight he throws 2 punches per round, 3 punches per round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just and boxing's basic. You just have to be smart. Mayweather's very smart. Picks his fight. I think Mikey's one of those guys. I'm not comparing Mikey to Mayweather, but Mikey
doesn't waste his energy or punches that he doesn't need to.
He doesn't. He's very, very smart, very calm, very patient. But when he throws, he lands.